everybody, Steelfist Gaming here. Today I'm going to be talking about something that is I'm going to call it what it is. It's a problem. Okay, you guys, it's a problem. It's the whole topic of modern music. Yep, modern music. So I was introduced to this, but as you can tell, I've been lifting weights for a very long time, and back when my dad and I first went to the gym, they played this radio station that only played modern music. Today's best hits is what they called it. There wasn't one song they played that didn't sound terrible. And I mean terrible, you guys. I mean, every single song that they played was auto-tuned to the extreme, and I mean extreme. I mean, let's say a light bulb, no, a candle was just a little bit of auto-tune. Here is what their music sounded like. So you guys get my point? Their music that they played was so heavily auto-tuned, and that's a problem. And a lot of people, defenders of modern music, I know I'm going to have a lot of them in my comments on this video, but I'm going to try and bear with them for that. A lot of people are going to say, autotune's just a way to make the music sound better. Well, think about it this way. Let's say I got a guitar, a banjo, a kazoo, and rather than just playing actual notes on it, I played a single note for the whole entire time, and then had a computer go in and change the frequency, therefore changing the notes. That would be completely ridiculous. I wouldn't be a good musician, I'd just be someone hiding behind a computer. So why is a voice any different from a piano or something? I mean, look. Let's say, for example, you guys, I wanted to play What Do You Do with a Silly Sailor on the accordion. Now, here's what it would sound like if I was a good musician. Something like that. But if I were auto-tuning it, I would just do. Then I'd have the computer go in and change around the notes. You know, it's not a game. You can make music however you want, I'd say. But I think it'd be fair to say that that's cheating. Because, I mean, I'm not playing it for real like I was earlier. I'm just having a computer do it. So, I don't get why vocals are any different. Not to mention the backing track, the background music to just about any modern song is completely computerized. I have a pretty big drum set over here. I'm a drummer. I like to drum. I don't do it very often these days. But when I'm making a song, I happen to get on that drum set and play pretty good. Same with the accordion. You can hear that epic Fortnite Sigma. Spotify, it's on Spotify, look it up. And I use autotune in that song, but just more of a parody than an actual thing. But they don't use real music anymore. It's all digital electronic. I mean, listen to the Beatles, Deep Purple, John Mellencamp, Alice Cooper, the Rolling Stones, Queen, Steely Dan, Creedence Clearwater Revival, listen to Def Leppard even, whoever made the Final Countdown, and even it's all real instruments and real vocals, which makes me really say that music's gone a lot worse. So I do believe that the digitization of instruments has something to significantly do with that. And I'm going to sort of make a chart for you here. I'm going to summon a whiteboard. Magicazam, Magicazor, somebody get me a whiteboard. Okay, here's me. I'm going to try and educate you. I'm calling it education. It's not a debate because I'm pretty much objectively right and you're objectively wrong if you support modern music. So, here's let me draw. Okay, so here's this chart that I'm working on. It's a pretty simple one, pretty easy to understand, so there should be no confusion here. Let's go around 1940. This is back when they didn't really have much audio recording technology. So what they did have was these wax cylinders that they would use a stylus to write sounds on. And it was pretty good. It was I'll say mid to good. And 1950s, audio technology came along. Rock and roll was invented. Chuck Berry, Elvis Presley, those guys showed up. They made music better. In 1960, it got even better with the, 1960s. They perfected what they had invented in the 1950s then. And then 1970s, around the 1970s point, it got maybe a little bit better because of the invention of heavy metal. It sort of diversified the genre of music a little bit. And then 1980s, it sort of flattened out right there, where, there was no autotune yet, so it was still pretty good. But sort of old. I mean, listen to an Elvis Presley song. No one's made anything like that in the better half of 70 years since the 1950s. So, then 1990s comes along. Here's the critical hit to music. The 1990s, somewhere between 1990 and 2000, autotune was invented. Which is what I was talking about earlier. It's a program that lets you basically just not make any real notes and then have the computer do it for you. It just sort of sounds like, it's like talking to a fan. Then it went all downhill. Early 2000s, 2010, it gets worse. 2020 is where we are right now. We're in 2026. So 2016 was like 6 years ago. And this is where we are now. Wait, I didn't do that accurately. It's more like straight down to bad in the 1990s when autotune was invented. You're not going to do it in 2000s because in the 90s it was used sparingly. But 2010, music became completely unsalvageable. Unsalvageable. Yeah, in 2020, it got even worse. So we're below bad right here. And here's my theory. There are movies like the movie They Live. It's about these creatures that come from outer space. They can't see, but they can hear very well, so you have to be very quiet, otherwise they'll eat you. And there's all sorts of stuff in movies. I mean, Superman, if he hears the wrong frequency, his head will explode. My theory, in the 2030s, it's going to get so bad and so terrible that listening to music is going to have permanent effects on your brain. That's just a theory. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a brain scientist. I do consider myself to be a scientist of other ways, like, you know, I just think a lot. I had a dream I was a scientist once. I do a lot of thinking. So you shouldn't really question me as regards to what I'm saying, because I'm pretty smart as far as people go. I'm going to be honest. You know, it's hard to find somebody who shares the same level, the same type of intellect as me, so you shouldn't really question the sort of things I'm saying. And I think that music is going to take a turn where it's going to become so auto-tuned and brain-rotted, is what the youth these days say, that listening to it is going to cause brain damage. I actually know a thing about brain damage. When I was 12 years old, I thought I could do parkour, and I was wrong. I hit my head into solid concrete. I had to go to the hospital. And yeah, I don't think it's true about brain damage from that. It hurts. But listening to music that's modern, it's not only annoying, I can feel sort of the brain rot sort of wearing off on me. Sort of like put rust in salt water, it'll start to iron. You put iron, you get a metal, an iron, just, I don't know, like a nail or something, put it in something salty, like pickle juice, it'll start to rust because of the oxidization of the metal. So, that's sort of the feeling that modern music has to me. And the autotune, it significantly decreased the skill. Not to mention, every single artist is pretty much owned by a gigantic record label. It's not about individuals being creative anymore. It's about companies getting people to make as many things as possible. Not because they like doing it, but because it's for the money. Tyler Williams. I know him. He's a friend of mine. He's good music. Look him up on Spotify. I'm gonna be serious here. He actually has pretty good music. But, and I have a CD right here of his music. I bought it at one of his events. It's pretty good. So, listen to his music on Spotify. But anyways, smaller creators who aren't owned by a record label, they are the ones who actually make good music. And that's the way it was in Elvis Presley and whatnot. Deep Purple, well, they were owned by record labels, but that was sort of the transitional period where people were going from individual to corporate, and there's still some individual in there. So, I think that has seriously had an impact on the music industry. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to just do some research real quick and find the top 10 songs of the last 10 years. Well, guys, I tried to find a list that wasn't AI generated, but you know, AI wins again, so I'm just going to go down the list that AI came up with. Just top 10 songs released between 2015 and 2025. Shape of You by Ed Sheeran. Okay, here's a lyric video. Okay, I found the lyric video for it by Ed Sheeran. Okay, so far it's just the same 3 notes over and over and over again. You know, if you listen to Bohemian Rhapsody, it has 6 notes. It sounds like a Minecraft note block, just or a doorbell. Okay, Okay, so you can sort of just hear the... I can hear the auto-tune. Most people can't, but I can. Now, I'm going to fast forward in the song. I can tell. I have a spider sense. I'm pretty sure they played this one on the radio. That sounds terrible. Okay, we're still rolling? Good. Okay, my spider sense can tell me. I'm going to fast forward in the song, just skip every 5 seconds. I guarantee you it's going to be the same burp, burp, burp. Oh, okay, it's just... Now the autotune's kicking in even stronger. And it's still the same 3 notes. You listen to songs, there were guitar solos, there were bass solos, drum solos, there was a lot of variation. But this song sounds like it's just the same 3 notes over and over again. By Ed Sheeran. Okay, number 2, Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson, FT, Bruno Mars. Wait, I remember this one. They did a parody of it for school back in the day.
Ciao, we have some... When we hit the pothole, I was worried we'd be stranded for hours.
Okay, autotune, I can hear it right away. It's a computerized do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Okay, so there's some real sounding drums in there. That's good. But I can hear the computerized vocals. There's some sort of effect added to it. Okay, so there's some trumpets that maybe are real, maybe are not. But, you know, it doesn't sound real. It sounds like fake music. It sounds... You can hear the effects added to the vocals. And, you know, it has just this modern feel to it that isn't good. And it's... You can hear the auto-tune. It's subtle in this, but it sort of ruins it. Maybe it's all about the frequency of the background radiation of the song. But it's... I've heard of the song before. A lot of people like it, but it's still just modern music where, you know, it's made by a big record label, and you can sort of hear... This is going to sound weird. The audio is too crisp. It sounds fake. If you listen to an old Beatles song, it actually sounds real. But with the auto-tune backing vocals and the likely computerized drums, it's... I mean, it sounds real, but you can fake stuff pretty good. I'm a drummer. I know what real drums sound like. So yeah, there's that. Okay, Old Town Road by Lil Nas X. Isn't Nas the thing that they put in cars to make it go fast? Old Town Road. Okay. Okay, there's a piano. Do, 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 do. Every song that I hear, it starts out with just the same do, do, the same 3 or 4 notes over and over and over again. And I can hear a sort of a humming in the background that's auto-tuned. Okay, it's some old guy singing, sounds like. And I can hear there's pitch correction in there. and though I have very sensitive ears, I have great hearing, and I think that pitch correction pretty much just, it throws the sound out. You know, music is supposed to be made by people. Pitch correction just sort of makes it sound fake. Okay, and there's immediately auto-tuned vocals, where it sounds like a robot. I mean, if I wanted to listen to an auto-tuned vocal, I'd just talk to Siri on an old iPhone or something. It's just, there's computerized, I can tell, this is definitely a computerized backing track. Look. This, I'm going to give you a demonstration, is what a real drum set sounds like. That's real acoustic drums. You can hear there's sort of a fake backing track to it, like the computerized bass. It isn't even an analog synthesizer, it's a computerized one. It's at least I'm pretty sure, in the drums you can sort of just hear it. The drums are certainly fake. It's a drumming machine. Drumming machines cannot hold a stick. Wait, what's the saying? I don't know what the saying is. It's like, you know, it's where like something's bad and something else is good, but they're supposed to do the same thing, but there's just one thing that isn't good. You know, nothing, it can't, it's like pointing a stick at something. I don't remember the saying, but the point is, real drums are extremely better than fake ones. I'm just going to fast forward. Okay, and he said a cuss word. So I'm going to censor that out. That's another thing. Do you guys not realize the importance of the no cuss words? How are we going to have a cuss word free world if people keep putting cuss words in their movies? Not their movies. Well, that too, but their music. How are we going to have a cuss word free world? Now I have to edit that. Okay. Next up, Despacito by Louis Fonzi FT Daddy Yankee. Okay. I'm going to find Despacito. I don't know why the title's in Russian. I think that's Russian for hillside. Like, there's the hillside over there. There's the Despacito. Like, if you're looking at a hillside. And I'm remembering correctly from not Red Dead Redemption. That's a video game. If I'm remembering correctly from Red Dawn, the Russian guys are driving a Jeep and like, there's the hill over there. So that's what that means, I think. Okay, there's a baby food? What's this have to do with music? YouTube commercials. Okay, that is extremely auto-tuned. Okay, that is... The auto-tune sounds terrible. It just objectively does. And it's a fact, so you can't really disagree with me on that. Because, you know, it's sort of an uncanny valley sort of thing. I remember seeing a Vsauce video on this where something's almost human, but it isn't. You know, I've talked to humans my whole life. I'm pretty good at it sometimes. But when something is almost human, it gets scary. It doesn't sound right. You know, if you listen to an Elvis Presley, you can tell it's a real voice. If you listen to a Deep Purple or something, or Alice Cooper, you can tell it's a real human voice, unaltered, unedited. And the only real effects they used back then was the natural reverb that happened in the room. Listen. You heard that echo a little bit, didn't you? That's just reverb the way it works. And it sort of lands in this uncanny valley that I don't like all that much. Every single thing in this song is auto-tuned. So yeah, that's my point right there. Okay, I'm gonna pick another one. Bad Guy by Billy Eyelash. I think he's the guy who made what song did he make? There's an old songs from the 80s, Dancing with Myself, like you know that one? Bad Guy. Okay, let me find. Okay, so there's immediately, as you can hear, the same sort of. There's a bass line. I mean, there's some good songs that open up with just a bass line. But. Okay, I hear some sort of mumbling. Okay, there's more mumbling. Okay, there's more. It's just mumbling. Okay, and the backing track, it sounds just like the Ghost theme for Mario. Let me play it. Now, I was going to do 10, but this is too much for me. I mean, it just sounds plain terrible, you guys. So there's my point. I think that music has... I mean, that one, the last one, it sounded like the Mario Ghost theme with some very unclear vocals that you couldn't even really hear or understand. The ones from the lyric video. So, in conclusion, I think modern music has seriously gotten bad. And I think that we need to just start making good music again. So, yeah. Music has seriously gotten a lot worse. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. Steelfist Gaming? Oh yeah, also, if you want to mail me anything, send it to this mailbox right here. And I'll open up your letters if you send them, and read them. Steelfist Gaming, signing out. I'm a puppet, I don't know why I'm a puppet, I am. Hi, I'm Steelfist Gaming Puppet, and in order to prove my point,